Hi, I'm Jimmy Holland, and welcome to another edition of A Preacher and His Work. We have so many great gospel preachers across our country and around the world, and this is our way of helping you know them just a little bit better. We are coming to you today from a special location. We are at Polishing the Pulpit in Sevierville, Tennessee, and it's always great to be a part of this good work. And it's also great to have Brother Jim Dearman sitting down with us today. Brother Dearman, I appreciate you being with us.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you, Jimmy.
Brother Dearman, where are you currently working?
We currently worship and work under the oversight of the Dunlap Church of Christ, the eldership at Dunlap, Tennessee, which is near Chattanooga, Tennessee, and where Brother Freddie Clayton is the pulpit preacher, has been for about 23 years. Fine congregation. We're blessed to be a part of that work. They oversee the Good News Today radio and television work that I am now involved with full-time, except for preaching appointments and gospel meetings. I'm not working in local work now, but working full-time with Good News Today.
Well, we appreciate everything you've done and continue to do with Good News Today.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
How long have you been in ministry total?
Well, around 40 years, I would say. In 1974, we were living in Birmingham, Alabama, and I was working as news director of a commercial radio station. And I was not faithful to the Lord at that time. And my wife was not a Christian, but through the influence and persistence of a very fine gospel preacher, Rex Morer, who was preaching at the Shades Mountain congregation that Brother Franklin Camp was associated with for many years, he reached us through my wife, really, because she learned the truth, obeyed the truth, and that was my wake-up call, and I was restored. And the rest is history, as they say. One of the elders there, Jim Foster, knew Brother Roy Hearn, who was director of Memphis School of Preaching. They encouraged us to go to the school, and we made that transition at that time.
And was it you coming back to the church that motivated you to move into ministry?
I guess it was a rekindling, if you will, Jimmy, of a childhood dream that I'd had. Brother W.J. Lemons was our preacher when I was a boy in Smithville, Tennessee, my hometown. And people used to ask me, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I said, I want to be a red-headed preacher like Brother Lemons, because he was red-headed. So I guess it was a rekindling of that, and I was blessed to have Christian parents and that foundation to which I thankfully returned.
Well, we are so thankful that you made that decision.
Thank you, brother.
The last question that I have, and for me it's the most important question that I could ask you, and that is, as a preacher, as a minister, if you had just one message that you could share with the world, what would that one message be?
I think it could be summarized by saying to the world, give God a chance, if you will. Give God's Word a chance. In other words, we live in the most pluralistic society that I think we've ever been in our lifetime. And anything goes, live and let live. The ecumenical movement has gone to seed,
Absolutely.
Really. And therefore, it's more challenging to get people to think in terms of one way to heaven, and yet Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. My plea would be, give that way an opportunity. In other words, look into God's Word with an open, honest heart. Lay aside the prejudice, the preconceived ideas, the traditions of men, parental influence, any other influence, and simply study the Bible for yourself. And I think when people do that, they'll come away, hopefully, as New Testament Christians, nothing more, nothing less.
Absolutely. And as you said, in the pluralistic world that we live in, the simple truth is the message the world needs to hear.
That's exactly right, brother.
Brother Dearman, I appreciate you being with us today.
My pleasure. Thank you, Jimmy.
I appreciate you being with us, and I look forward to being with you next time on A Preacher and His Work.
The preceding program was a production of the Fort Payne Church of Christ TV studio located in Fort Payne, Alabama.